A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we start the topic on markets. Before that, we have discussed about the consumer theory. First of all, I have discussed with you that what do you mean by managerial economics, and managerial economics is derived from the microeconomics, and the foundation of managerial economics from microeconomics. And then we start about the topic on there are four sections of microeconomics. One, do you know that one is the consumer theory, and second one is the producer theory, markets and exchange of goods, and we have discussed about these lot of things about this. So we have discussed about the consumption theory and producer theory in briefly. Today we discuss about the topic on markets, and what do you mean by markets. So students, you know that there are four type of the markets. A market is a place in which the seller, in which seller and large number of seller and buyer are negotiate with them, and negotiate on the price of commodity, and they the seller sell the price in this market, and the producer consumer took the buy the goods and services from the market. This is called the markets. If we discuss about the markets, and we have discussed that markets mean a place in which the large number of seller and buyer come together, and they negotiate with each other for the price for selling. The producer basic motive to sell the goods and services in the markets, and the consumer basic motive is that the he purchase the goods and services and buy goods and services from the markets at the certain price. So if we discuss about the markets, there are we categorize the markets in two scenarios, in two ways. One is that the perfect competitive markets, and perfect, and second one is the imperfect market. One is the perfect, and second one is the imperfect markets. So perfect markets, in which we discuss about that the perfect competitive markets, and imperfect markets, we have discussed about there are four type of the markets exist in imperfect competitive markets. One is the monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic competition. These are the imperfect markets. Monopoly, we have briefly discussed about the monopoly, where one seller and the large number of buyers exist in a market, and then we go toward the monopolistic competition, few number of buyers and sellers, which is in between perfect competition and monopoly. And third one is called the oligopoly. Oligopoly means the small number of large firms in a market which compete with one another. This is called the oligopoly. Now today we discuss about what do you mean by the perfect competitive markets, and what is mean by the perfect competition. So, introduction. To an economist, the competitive firms of competitive markets is a firm that does not determine its market price. We discuss about the early that in perfect competitive markets, the producer is not a price maker, it is a price taker. The price is fixed among all the firms in the market, because in market there are large number of firms exist in a market which has produced homogeneous goods, and these goods are homogeneous. That's why the basic motive of the producer in a market, that the profit maximization, but the profit is not maximized with respect to price. The producer can't be increase the price of any product. If he want to increase its price, the large number of consumers let them, and let him, and go to other markets, because the homogeneous product are exist in the markets. So the competitive firm, a firm that does not determine its market price. So we can also say that the in perfect competitive market, the producer is not price maker, but it is price taker. Price maker mean the producer make a price by itself, but in competitive market this is not doing by the producer. This type of the firm is free to sell as many units of its goods and it wishes without affecting the market price. In this market, the large number of buyers and sellers are exist in the markets. Students in this type of markets, the producer get a maximum revenue for selling the goods and services. No, the student producer can't be get a maximum profit by increasing its price because large number of the seller are present in the markets and the large number of buyers also exist in the market. So the basic the seller can sell a large number of product which increase the revenue of its seller revenue, which increase the profit of seller by selling the more and more of the product in the markets at cheap price and large quantity. This is the example of China. You can see that in China, China produce a large number of goods and services in the markets, but at lower price because if we increase the quantity of our output, increase the quantity of output, it's mean that the large number of quantity you can produce in the markets, you can lower its price to sell a more and more product and get a maximum revenue from the product. But rather, what quantity to produce at prevailing market price? We will explore these decisions in the short run and long run with the assumption that the firm pursues the goals of profit maximization. So here we can see that the we can also assume that the producer produce a large number of goods, but you also see that what extent the producer produce the goods and services and what the level of production the producer apply this level where the price is also maintained and producer get a maximum profit by selling the goods and services. Now, the competitive firms. What are the main assumptions of competitive firms? As already students, I have discussed with you about that. One is the social science and other one is the natural science. And in natural science, we have discussed that science in which we have done a control experiment in a laboratory and we make an assumption like we experiment on the control laboratory. We have make an assumption about that the air pressure is constant and volume is constant, but in economics this is type of the social science and we discuss the behavior of human being. We make some assumptions of the markets when the competitive firm we make a perfect competitive law. These are the some assumptions in perfect competitive markets. The first and foremost assumption is that the many firms, there are a large number of the firms exist in the market. First of all, we have also discussed that the basic objective of the producer to produce the goods and services at the lower price. So, for higher production, we need a large number of firms in the market. If the firm, less firms are also exist in the market, these firms can't be produce a large number of goods and services. And first and foremost assumption of the perfect competitive markets is that there are many firms in the market. Each produces as a homogeneous product. The product in produced in a market is homogeneous. There are two type of the product existing in a market. One is the called the heterogeneous product and second one is the called homogeneous product. Homogeneous products are those products with natures and with shapes and we can say that which every aspects of their shapes are exist in a homogeneous like same size and same color and same quantity of goods and produce in a market. This is called the homogeneous product. And the third assumptions of the market, the firm is a price taker. I have already discussed with you the firm is a price taker. This is the very we can say that this is also a very important assumption in perfect competitive market that the firm is a price taker, not a price maker. Price maker mean a firm artificially make its price and make a price higher and higher, and then yeah, the firm can get a maximum revenue by increase its price. But in the perfect competitive market, the firm is not a price maker; it is a price taker. the price which is exists in the market, the firm follow this price and firm produce large and large goods and services in the market. So market price is independent of the number of units sold by each firm. So we can say that the market is independent whichever the price is produced by the goods and services by the any each firm. The firm's demand function is horizontal line at the market price. Here we can say that the demand function, you know that we have already discussed about the topic of demand. The demand we can see in last topic that we have seen that the demand is negative related to the price. If we increase the price of goods, the quantity of demand is decreased, and if we decrease the price of goods, the quantity of demand is increased. There is inverse relationship price and quantity of demand. The demand curve is negative slope. You know that. The law of demand, we have already discussed the law of demand. There is negative relationship between price and quantity of demand. But in perfect competitive market, over demand curve is horizontal. And we can say the elasticity of demand is infinite. Understand? Here we can see
जी
that
सर.
in first diagram you can see here the demand of single firms is the negative slope. If we increase the prices from here to here, the over demand is decreased, quantity of demand of the commodity is decreased. Now if we decrease the price, the quantity of commodity increase, and you can see that there is negative relationship between demand and price of commodity and quantity of demand. But this is the single firm, where single firm, the example of single firm in which the demand of single firm is negative slope and the supply is positive slope. You know that. If here we make a equilibrium of supply and demand of the commodity, which is at zero level and O level, where the price exists is P prime. The dotted line, if we match this dotted line with other demand curve, over demand curve is here is shows that the horizontal. It's mean that there are large number of buyers and sellers in the markets, and the demand of product is perfectly elastic. It's mean that if we if the producer want to increase a small number of price, the demand of producer is goes towards the zero, because the consumer couldn't buy this product when he moved from one firm to another firm for the goods and services, because the large number of firms are available in the markets. The consumer left the firm from the markets and go to another market to get a purchase of goods and services. That's why the demand curve of the perfect competitive market is horizontal, with the elasticity of this demand is infinite. Infinite means if we 1% increase in the price of any producer, the demand is goes toward the zero, because the large number of seller and buyer exist in the market, and the buyer move from one firm to another firm, because they know that the markets, large number of markets available in a large number of firms available in a market, so he moved from one firm to another firm. So you can see that the one assumptions of the perfect competitive markets, if the firms increase 1 rupees price, around 14 consumer let the firms and move to another one. So हम कह सकते हैं कि अगर एक प्रोड्यूसर जो है, if he increase the 1 rupees price of any commodity, the producer जो है, the consumer on there are 14 consumer let the let this firm product and move to another firm. So this type of market is called the perfect competitive markets. Next, the perfect competition. Perfect competition means you know that there are large number of buyers and sellers in a market. Conditions for the perfectly competitive market. The first condition of the perfect competitive markets is that the products are perfect substitutes, homogeneous products. Perfect students, perfect substitutes mean the one product can be substituted another. We can say that if the price of one product is increased, the people let this product and move to other, the consumer let this product and move to the other products. This is called the perfect substitute. Perfect substitute means the elasticity of substitution is equal to infinite. If 1 rupees increase the price of this product, the consumer move to let this product and move to another product. So we can see that the perfect substitutes mean here, here you know that this is the we know that this is the coffee, and this is the Coke, and this is, we can say that here, Coke and Pepsi. If if price of Pepsi will increase, the producer took a this quantity of Pepsi and this quantity of Coke. So this is the demand curve. If the price of Pepsi increase, the consumer move 100% move toward the Coke. This is called the perfect substitute. Let the consumer leave this product and move toward took the this product in 100%. This is called the perfect competitive, perfect substitutes and homogeneous product. The firm as price taker, resources with reason with many firms. All the firms has small market share. So in this perfect competitive markets, you have already, I have already discussed that the firm is price taker. Perfect and systematic, symmetric information. And what do you mean by symmetric information? Students, you can tell me about what do you mean by symmetric and asymmetric information?
सर परफेक्ट एंड सिमेट्रिक इंफॉर्मेशन आप ये कह सकते हैं जो इंफॉर्मेशन बिल्कुल ठीक है, बहुत सिस्टमैटिक है, सिस्टमैटिक
Symmetric information.
सिस्टमैटिक इंफॉर्मेशन सिमेट्रिक इंफॉर्मेशन.
Okay, no problem. A
So,
information is that information you know about the future value of this price, and the consumer is rational. Rational means the producer and consumer. Producer is aware about the market, that how many goods and services produced in the markets to which give it a maximum revenue, and consumer is also aware for the market. He have a rational expectation about the market, that he know that what are the price of commodity, and what is the nature of this commodity, and you can see that you can say that what is the properties of these commodity. The consumer is perfectly about know perfect information about the markets, and everything you know about the market. This is called the symmetric information. And perfect, the consumer is you can say that the consumer rational about the market. This is called the symmetric information. Long run, perfect factor mobility. In perfect competitive markets, we can say also that the perfect factor mobility. Factor mobility means the students that everything is mobile. We can say that the labor is mobile from one place to another, perfect mobility, and capital is mobile from one market to another. In long run, we can say that in perfect competitive market, the perfect mobility of factor mobility. Factor mean like there are four factor of production, you know, that land, labor, capital, and organization. So we can here see that the perfect mobility of the labor and land. Capital and labor are freely few freely face the same factor price. Free entry and exist in the market. There is no barrier in the market. Student, one is another important assumption of the perfect competitive market is that there is no barrier to entry and exist in the market. Exit in the market. If a firm want to enter in a market, no one restrict on the firm to you are not entering the market. And if the firm some firm realize that in markets they get a abnormal and abnormal profit or a loss, they exit the market freely. So firm has a right, and firm has a right obligation to leave the market or enter in the market. There is no barrier in perfect competitive markets. Now, so the organization of this chapter we discuss about the competitive market in short run, the quantity chosen by the firm, the aggregate individual supply curve in a market, supply curve, the market equilibrium, and so on. So let we start. The definition of the profit. You know about that. In last lecture we have discussed about the economic profit and accounting profit. What is the difference between economic and accounting profit? You know, I have discussed in brief that economics and accounting profit in with you, and what is the difference between economic and accounting profit? No, someone tell me about that. What is the difference between economic and accounting profit? Last time, student, I have discussed with you that the economic profit, the basic objective in perfect competitive market, you know that in perfect competitive or imperfect competitive market, the basic objective of firm to profit maximization. The definition of profit, one is the economic profit and second one is the accounting profit. Now, I have already discussed with you that in accounting profit, we define as the difference between total revenue and total explicit cost. Explicit cost is the cost of labor, cost of land, cost of capital, rent, cost of labor, wages, and these all costs include, we got a explicit cost. And if we deduct difference, take a difference between total revenue, revenue mean the price multiplied by quantity, and total cost, explicit, this is called the accounting profit. In economic profit, the difference between the total revenue and total cost, which is include the explicit cost and implicit cost. And implicit cost I have discussed with you, this is called the opportunity cost. If we add the opportunity cost and explicit cost, we get a total cost, and we the different take a difference between total revenue and total cost, this is called the profit. Okay, students, understand? So this is the economic and accounting cost. Competitive markets in the short run, we know that short run where all the factor of production are not variable and some of fixed. This is called the short run. In competitive market in short run, market in the short run, in short run we can say the firm is fixed, no entry and no exit. We know that in long run, all the firms there is free entry and exit in the market. In short run, there is no entry and no exit. In short run quantity decision, the firms take price as a given. The firm face the short run cost curve as a capital is fixed. You know that in short run, the one input factor is almost equal to constant. Like we know that in our production function, y is the function of Y is the function of labor and capital, and we fix the capital and we only variate with labor. So the short run quantity decision, the firm take a price as a given. The firm pays a short run cost curve as a capital fix. The problem of competitive firm maximize the profit. So here you can see that the maximum profit is equal to PQ minus C is a function of Q. PQ mean the price and quantity. The price and quantity mean the total revenue. Here this is the total revenue of the firm, and QC mean the cost. So you know that there is two type of cost. One is the implicit cost and explicit. We add up this. This is called the total cost. The difference between total revenue and total cost is called the profit. In what Q so maximize the profit is given the price of output and the price of input. So the profit maximization mean a condition in which the price of any commodity is equal to marginal cost, where the price is taking behavior. Price is equal to marginal cost. A profit maximization condition is the necessary condition is that where the price is equal to marginal cost. A condition in which the price and marginal cost are equate with one another. This is called the profit maximization condition of any firm. Understand, student? Okay. Let's move to another topic. Slides is that there we in this slide you know that the competitive markets in a short run.
Yes, sir, understand.
Okay, this is our revenue. Our revenue is start from zero to straight line, which is straight line. This is straight line. This is called our revenue function. I highlight this uh, revenue function with detail that I have discussed with you. That this is yellow our revenue function. So here you can see that our revenue function is straight line, which is started from zero and up to this. This is our total revenue. So here you can see that our total revenue in straight lines. Revenue start from zero. What is the reason behind that? That our revenue curve start from the zero. The reason is that revenue, we get a revenue when we quantity of goods and services sell. If we can't be sell the quantity of goods and services in markets, we can't get a maximum revenue. So
Yes,
at
yes,
zero,
sir, it is the reason.
uh,
Yes,
at
sir,
zero
because if we
quantity.
don't sell the product, that's why.
Yes, yes. If our product is zero, it means that our revenue is zero. Revenue, the formula of revenue, you know that price multiplied by quantity. If we produce a zero quantity over we multiply with price over revenue is zero. So as the quantity of output increase and increase and our revenue is increase and increase, this is our total revenue in straight line. Okay. Total cost. First of all, you can see here that our total cost is increase because you know that if we start a production of any factory, we know that our total cost is consist in two components. One is total fixed cost and other is total variable cost. Total fixed cost means we first of all we make a industry in somewhere and we took a land in lease and hire a labor and organization which built our industry, and we have spent a large number of lot of money in over fixed cost in the shape of fixed cost, and so fixed and variable cost at initially our fixed cost is more as compared to our revenue. Our revenue is less because we are producing nothing, but we have spent a lot of money on our buildings and our factory and equipment like factory instruments, and you can see that you can say that in factory we have a different type of cost. We are like a sunk cost and like a variable cost and fixed cost. These are all the costs bear in the factory because our at initial level our cost is increase and increase. After when our factory production will start, starting the production, our cost goes toward and diverge, converge toward the our revenue, because as we produce and more goods and services, we get a maximum revenue from the production, and our cost, fixed cost is almost go towards the zero. At this point where our cost is equal to our revenue, this is the equilibrium points where the revenue is equal to our cost. Here we get a abnormal profit, but after that our cost goes toward decrease and our revenue is increase, and the gap between these revenue and cost, this revenue and cost, this is called our profit maximization, and this is our super normal profit of the firm. After that the our cost goes toward the increase due to wear and tear of the equipment, and you know that there are large over equipment are wear and tear, and over goodwill and reputation, and that initially we got go toward the diminishing, and that's why our cost is also almost increase and increase, so our revenue is go to decrease. So here you can see that at initially our revenue is less than and zero, almost equal to zero. Then our profit is go toward the increase. At that point our profit is called the abnormal profit, and this is the point where our profit is go toward the supernormal, and after that our profit is go toward decline and decline due to wear and tear of the equipment of any industry, so our profit is go toward negative. This is the condition where the firm shutdown condition, where firm shut down and exit from the market. This is the competitive market in the short run. We see in explain it brief in our diagram. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Understand.
all of you understand, or only Nadia Khan understand? Some other students are not took a participate in my class, like Nadeem Ali and no, Nadeem Ali participate, and Nadia Khan, Adil Khan, and Shahzeb Khan, and Jilani, I think. Jilani not are not participating with me in my class. So, okay. Here you can see that over here is over output and cost, and here is over quantity. So in this diagram, this is our marginal cost, average variable cost, and this is our marginal cost. You know that there are two conditions we have discussed already, that that the marginal cost, average variable cost goes toward the negative, and marginal cost intersect the average variable cost at its minimum position. Here the marginal cost is minimum position, and this is over. You can say that price is equal to marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, where the profit maximization condition exists in a competitive market. And this straight line shows that price is equal to marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Here the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. This quantity 7.4 is our maximum quantity, where we get a normal, where we get a abnormal super normal profit at this condition. After that our marginal cost is increased and revenue is decreased. This is the shutdown condition of the firms, and behind that our cost is greater than our revenue. This at initial level, where we say we can say that our fixed cost and variable cost is exist in the market. Understand, students? So
जी सर.
the short run supply function of a
Yes, sir.
competitive firm, in the short run, the supply function of the competitive firm is shows that the quantity supply at each price when the one factor of production is fixed. In short run, we can say that over the competitive firms shows the quantity supply at each price when the one factor is fixed. Here, students, I can tell you about that. I have told you about that. In short run, the supply of firm will start from this condition, this portion, this marginal cost, which is above the equilibrium condition. This is the supply of any firm. Here, negotiation between the cost and production revenue is occur. That's why this is the short run supply curve. In the short run supply, the function of the competitive firm shows that the quantity of supply at each price when one factor of production is fixed. Assumption: the firm assumes to maximize its profit by consistently adopt cost saving technology in order to survive and avoid a takeover. तो स्टूडेंट्स जो है ना ये assumptions ये हैं कि जब शॉर्ट रन में if we see the supply curve is above the marginal cost which is above the equilibrium condition, तो वहाँ पे ये इसकी supply curve होगी और the firm जो है attempt to maximize the profit constantly adopting the cost saving technology. Here the firm after this point the firm adopt the technology is cost saving because the cost of firm is increase and increase. So firm adopt this technology which is cost saving technology in order to survive in a market. Otherwise it exists from the market or avoid to take over from the market. Students एक बात सुने, maybe some students are hesitate in English. If you say me that you are delivering a lecture in Urdu, I will incorporate with you.
सर आपकी मर्जी है, इंग्लिश में उर्दू में जैसे आपको अच्छा लगे।
नहीं, ये बात स्टूडेंट जो हैं वो रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहे हैं, मे बी वो सोच रहे हूँ कि जो है ये इंग्लिश में बोल रहे हैं तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, ऐसा भी हो सकता है। तो इंग्लिश जो है इंग्लिश इज नॉट ओवर लैंग्वेज, वी आर ऑल पाकिस्तानी एंड ओवर लैंग्वेज इज उर्दू, you know that, but if you feel the basic aim of our lecture is that you understand the concept, आपको concept इसके समझ आए, आप इनको understand करें. This is not a matter that we understand in English or Urdu. Basic we strong our concept. This is basic our objective of this subject is that कि हमें इसकी समझ आए. You are a business student and आपको ये समझ आए कि ये जो concepts हैं आपको ये कितने आ रहे हैं और आपको इसकी कितनी समझ आ रही है कि how much you understand these concept of managerial economics.
सर जैसे आपकी मर्जी है, अगर आप उर्दू में करना चाहते हैं आप उर्दू में कर ले, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
ये बाकी स्टूडेंट से पूछते हैं ना, ये जिलानी, कौन सी जिलानी साहिबा है?
सर असल में जॉब पे बैठे हुए हैं इसलिए जो है ना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है किसी के लिए, ज्यादातर लोगों के लिए.
अच्छा, ठीक है, ओके
जी. ये बात है, मैं भी जॉब पे बैठा हूँ इस वक्त, तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है रिप्लाई करना, कभी कभी म्यूट करना पड़ता है, तो इसलिए.
Okay. I understand your problem. Okay, I will start and these lecture, you know that these lecture are also in recording mode are available in your LMS software.
Yes sir, it's available.
You can also listen these lecture after your job, and if you feel any problem, you directly contact with me on my WhatsApp group and number. I will reply you and I will give you answer about these questions.
ठीक हो गया सर, ठीक है.
Okay. तो here we discuss about the short run. तो short run में जो firms होती है ना, competitive firms, तो उसकी जो supply होती है, you know that the supply of the short run in competitive firm is the supply of marginal cost which is above on the equilibrium condition. तो उस supply को firm को maintain करने के लिए the firm attempt to maximize the profit constantly. अपने profit को maximize करने के लिए firm adopt the cost saving technologies. This cost saving technologies can survive the firm in a markets and also avoid the takeover. A takeover means the exit from the markets. If the firm couldn't adopt the cost saving technology, the firms got a loss in markets, and after that its profit is diminishing, goes toward the zero and negative, and at this stage the firm supernormal profit is converted into abnormal and then loss, and after this condition the firm exits from the markets, and the survival of firm is very difficult in a market. So next, the short run profit is denoted by the profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. You know that the total revenue is equal to price multiplied by quantity. The price here you can see that the price is output price. Output price means the market price. A price of market in which the firm sell the product at market price. So price multiplied by quantity. This is the revenue of the firm minus VQ plus F. VQ is called the variable cost and F is the fixed cost, and total cost. Total cost is equal to fixed cost and variable cost. This is cost and this is the revenue, and we take a difference between total revenue and total cost, we get a profit. Understand? So profit is equal to P multiplied by Q, and the cost is VQ is the variable cost and F is the fixed cost. If we minus this total revenue minus total cost, we get a profit. Okay. So when the firm decided to shut down production, Q is equal to 0. The firm lost F minus F. So that is the profit is equal to minus fixed cost. When the firm goes to shut down, its variable cost is 0 because he couldn't produce anything in a market, and it can't be hire a labor. It can't be hire a labor, land, capital, and raw material. Only the revenue minus fixed cost. This condition, when firm can't be meet its fixed cost, it means that the total revenue and fixed cost is equal to 0. The profit of firm is 0 and firm goes toward the loss. तो ये स्टूडेंट इसकी एग्जांपल ये है कि एक बंदा है, उसने अगर ही बाय coaster in a route, so he buy a coaster, and coaster is a fixed cost of any person. But after he buy a coaster as well as its route, this is the fixed cost of any coaster. Then he started the coaster, and coaster move from one area to another area. He also hire one driver and one conductor, and miscellaneous expenditure on these conductor and driver. So this is the variable cost. If the coaster can't be cover it fixed cost, it means that the fixed cost and its revenue is equal to 0. So the output of profit of the any producer is equal to 0. That's why we can say that here the slide that when the firm decided to shut down production, Q is equal to 0. No quantity can be produced by the firm. The firm loss F. Thus the profit is equal to minus fixed cost. In short run, the firm will only engage in production if the total revenue is equal or greater than total cost. Also, short run, the total revenue is greater than total cost. In short run, the firm can get a maximized profit because firm bear two type of cost. One is the variable and other is the fixed cost. In long run, the firm fixed cost is almost equal to 0, and firm only bear a variable cost. So total revenue and total variable cost is equal in the long run, which also give a profit to firm because he produce a maximum quantity of goods which maximize its profit. In short run, the fixed cost is sunk cost, and therefore the quantity produced does not depend upon the size of fixed cost. Understand, students? Let's move to another slide. driving the output that the maximum total short run profit. In the short run, we will assume that the capital is fixed. To maximize the short run profit, the firm select as the level of output there where marginal revenue M are equal to marginal cost. So the in short run, the firm maximizes profit, a condition in which marginal revenue is equal to price and marginal cost. This is the first and foremost condition in the profit maximization short run. A competitive firm produce a quantity where price is equal to short run marginal cost and marginal cost is right. So this is the basic condition of the firm in short run, that marginal revenue is equal to price is equal to marginal cost. This is the basically we can say the maximization condition of firm in short run. So here you can see that this is the diagram shows that you know that marginal revenue is equal to price. This is the horizontal. We have already discussed that the demand function of the firm is horizontal in a perfect competitive market. This is our average cost, average variable cost, and this is our marginal cost. A point where our marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue is equal to price. This point, A point, this is called the profit maximization point. Behind the point Q2, here the Q1 is quantity is produced at Q2 quantity where our cost is increased, average variable cost and marginal cost is increased. This is the firm abnormal profit, and that point where the margin revenue is equal to marginal cost is called the firm normal profit. After that point where cost is less and output is more, this is called the supernormal profit. The firm horizontal demand function is located at the price is P1. The firm maximize short-run producing profit Q1 where the margin revenue is equal to price and marginal cost. The total profit will be fall if the firm produce a large or smaller output than Q1. Q1 से अगर फर्म आगे की तरफ Q2 प्रोड्यूस करेगी फिर भी उसका प्रॉफिट कम होगा क्योंकि ये abnormal profit हो जाएगा. Here the cost of firm is increased as marginal cost as well as average cost. So this is the condition of firm to maximize its profit. The short run supply function of competitive firm, by applying the marginal revenue is equal to price is equal to marginal cost rule, where we have derived 1 point on the firm short run supply function. At a price P1, the firm should supply Q1 quantity. The quantity of firm supply at any price can also be found by using the rule of profit maximization. Here you can see that at Q1 the firm bear a price P1. This is the equilibrium condition at A level where the firm produce a maximum profit. After that the cost is increased, marginal cost is increased and increase, our profit is goes towards the decrease. Consequently, the firm short run marginal cost function is the firm short run supply function where the total revenue are equal or greater than total variable cost. Okay ji. Now
Yes, sir.
the firm short run marginal cost function is the firm short run supply function as the long as the total revenue is greater than or equal to total variable cost in short run. You need to know that the position of the short run average cost curve in order to determine whether the firm is making a profit or loss in the short run. But the firm can determine its short run profit maximization output without knowing whether it is a profit or loss. If the firm set a output where the price is equal short run marginal cost, it is operating as well as it can at given price level. So we have already discussed that this is the condition A where firm marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue is equal to price and demand, and this is the profit maximization. Behind that, behind at this point, the firm revenue is greater than cost, but above this point, we can say that cost is greater than its revenue, which our profit is going toward decline. profit. There are three conditions of the firm. One is the abnormal, normal profit, and supernormal and loss. Here you can see that over margin revenue is equal to price. This is the straight black line. And over average variable cost is also less. Average variable cost is also less than margin revenue and price. And our marginal cost is also less than, which is red line, is also less than marginal cost is also less than margin revenue is equal to price. So at that point, where A point, where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, which is the maximum point. If we join all the points, so here you can see that over you can see that over total revenue is equal to, if R is over revenue is equal to, this is O P1 A and Q1, O P1 A Q1, O P1 A Q1. This is our total revenue, and total cost that we bear, TC is equal to TR. TC is equal to OBC Q1, OBC Q1. So if we take a minus between total revenue minus total cost, total revenue minus total cost. So if we minus these, O cancel, Q1 cancel, we get ACBR. ACBP1. So you know that ACBP1. This portion is our total profit. Understand? Understand, student? Okay. This is our profit. This is our total revenue, and this is our total cost. If we minus total revenue minus total cost, we get A, C, B, and P1. A, C, B, and P1. This is our profit. To short run supply curve of the individual firm, the supply curve is related price and quantity of the supply. The supply curve coincide with marginal cost curve, but if only the price exceeds the average variable cost. This is where at least the variable cost. However, otherwise the firm is shut down. Condition to stay in the business is price is greater than average variable cost. This is the condition. This is our average variable price cost, and this is our price. Price is greater than average variable cost. This is the condition of the short run firm survives in a profit. Understand, students?
जी sir.
Now we see the another diagram, the second portion of the diagram. Here you can see that the price is P2 and margin revenue is equal to P2. This is our straight line, that is our demand curve. Okay, and our average variable cost also touch the price is equal to marginal revenue, and our marginal cost, you know that, which is lies below and touch the minimum position and goes to upward. This A point here over abnormal, you can say that this is called the shutdown price. The firm hardly cover the cost. How we can say that firm only cover the cost? That if we see that the total revenue of the firm in this condition, that is equal to OP2A and Q2. OP2A and Q2. This is total revenue of the firm. Total cost of the firm is TC is equal to O. नादिया खान इसकी टोटल कास्ट क्या होगी? नादिया खान प्लीज. क्या होगी इसकी टोटल कास्ट? Can you discuss me? Can you tell me about what is the total cost of this function? नदीम आप बताएं.
सर मैं फॉलो नहीं कर रहा था, मैं चेक करता हूँ, कोशिश करता हूँ.
देखें, the total revenue is equal to OP2A and Q2. What is the total cost of this diagram?
The TC is equal to 0.
No, zero no. The total cost of this diagram is also OP2A and Q2. OP2 and AQ2. This is also a total cost of this diagram, and also total revenue of this diagram is this, because the over average variable cost is tangent at a point where over margin revenue is equal to price is equal to average variable cost is equal to marginal cost at that point. These two costs and one revenue function are intersect with one another at that point. Here is over total revenue and here is over total cost. So over total, if you know that profit means total revenue minus total cost. Here over total revenue is also OPAQ2, total cost OPAQ2. These if we minus this function with this is totally cancelled with one another. We get a zero profit. So it means that zero profit means the shutdown price. Zero profit means the shutdown price of this condition. The industry goes toward the shutdown. Nadeem. जी बोले मिस्टर नदीम, आप बोले. जी बोले. If you feel any problem, I can repeat it. जी. Any problem, students?
No, sir, understand. You can carry on, sir.
Carry on. Okay. So this is the shutdown price of any firm. So we have covered this. So the third condition of our so total revenue is equal to total variable cost. If the market price is less than P2, the total revenue is less than total variable cost. If the firm will supply nothing and incur the loss equal to fixed cost rather than incur a large loss, so the P2 is referred to the shutdown price of the any firm. This is the shutdown price of any firm where the total cost is greater than its total revenue, and this is the price this is the price you see in this diagram, that this is the A point of the firm, where the firm total revenue, magnitude of its total revenue is equal to magnitude of total cost. This is the firm can get a zero profit at that point. This is called the shutdown price of any firm. Okay, next, move to another diagram. So you can see that where I have also tell about that the firm short-run supply function is equal to where that the firm average variable cost, the firm marginal cost and the price are intersect with one another. This is the A point. A point where the firm produce a quantity Q2 at A point. Behind that point, after that point from A to B, this is the firm short run supply curve. ये इसलिए फर्म की सप्लाई कर्व होती है बेसिकली इससे पहले फर्म जो है फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन को इजीली यूज कर रही होती है और इससे पहले फर्म की कॉस्ट जो है कॉस्ट ऑफ फर्म गोज टुवर्ड द मिनिमाइज आफ्टर ए पॉइंट the cost marginal cost of the firm is increased and firm move toward firm adopt these type of cost saving technologies to get a maximum profit. That's why the firm short run supply curve behind a point, this is called the firm short run supply curve. Understand? The short run market supply, the competitive firm in short run, the short run, this is the these diagram which I have already we discussed. This is only a single firm condition. Now we move toward the market. So the market mean the horizontal summation of supply curve of all the firm is called the market of firm. Market supply curve. The short run market supply is the aggregate supply, aggregate add up the supplied quantity across all the firms like Q1, Q2 and Q2, Qn. We aggregate these quantity of the firm horizontal summation of the all the firms, we get a market supply curve. In this diagram you can see that this is the marginal cost of single firm A, this is the firm B. If we add horizontally add the firm A and firm B marginal cost, we get a marginal cost of C. This is called the total industrial cost, which is we add up the firm A cost and firm B cost. Firm A marginal cost and firm B marginal cost, if we add up these two marginal costs, we get a total industrial cost which is equal to this. This is the horizontal summation of marginal cost of firm A, marginal cost of firm B. If we add up these two costs, we get a total marginal cost of any industry. Understand? Total mean we took a horizontal summation of firm A and firm B. If we add up these firm A and firm 1 and firm 2, we get a this type of supply curve. This is the total we can say that.
Total of both the firms, sir.
Total of both the firm A and firm B. If we add a horizontal summation of firm A and firm B, we get a total both of firm. This is called the total industrial supply of industry.
Okay, sir.
You know that large number of firms exist in a small in a industry now. If large number of firms exist in a one industry, if we add up these firms total cost, we get a cost total cost of an industry, which is the horizontal summation of firm 1 and firm 2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the competitive market in a short run, the market equilibrium in a short run, the short run market equilibrium is defined as the firm maximize its profit, the consumer maximize utility, budget restraint, no excess demand or supply in a market. So the competitive market is called the market where the supply is equal to demand. ESS is equal to S is equal to D. S is equal to D. This is called the competitive supply market where the supply is equal to demand. If supply is greater than demand, you know that the prices decrease. If supply is less than demand, demand is greater than supply, the prices are increased. If the supply is equal to demand, the price is equal to price. The prices is constant. So here the condition when supply is equal to demand is equal to price, this is the we can say that this is the competitive market where the demand is always equal to supply. This is also non-competitive, incompetitive, disequilibrium in a market. This is also a disequilibrium in the market. The equilibrium or market exists where supply is equal to demand is equal to price. Okay. The short-run industrial equilibrium. So we move toward the industry. First of all, we are discussing in a single firm where the single firm perfect competitive market. Now we move toward the industry condition. No firm within the industry can be changed the fixed factor of production. No new firms can be entered the industry. Hence, the competitive industry in the short run equilibrium if the firm in an industry have no incentive to change the quantity of produce. This is called the short run industry equilibrium. So here you can see that in short run equilibrium, this is the firm one which is its marginal cost, average total cost, and this is the that the profit curve, and this is the firm 2 and this is the firm 3. If we add up these three firms, we get a equilibrium where this is over demand of firm industry and this is supply, and at that point where demand and supply are intersect with each other, this condition is called the perfect competitive market. Perfect competitive market in an industry where we get a perfect competitive equilibrium where demand and equal to supply at that point. This is called the equilibrium point of any industry. Okay. So competitive markets in a short run, that the market equilibrium in a short run. In a short run, the firm can make a loss. The idea is that the producing result is lost is that the smaller that not is producing at all. So in this area you can see here this is our average total cost and this is our marginal cost. So cost above the our revenue. If the cost is above the revenue, it means that this portion is the loss of firm because the firm make a loss at that condition because there are large number of 2 or 3 type of cost which bear by the firm, which is like you can see that firm bear a cost of fixed as well as variable cost the firm bear in this condition. This is the competitive firm short run. So the welfare, what is mean by the welfare? There are two type of the concept exist in the welfare. One is the consumer surplus and other is the producer surplus. What do you mean by consumer surplus? The CS consumer surplus is measure the consumer welfare. Consumer surplus expressed by how much the consumer value access to the market area under the demand curve is called the consumer surplus. Consumer surplus mean the surplus at consumer willingness to pay and actual pay. The difference between CS mean consumer surplus. One is the willingness to pay. What is the consumer is willing to pay? Willingness to pay minus actual pay. कि वो कितना पे कर रहा है मार्केट को, उसकी विलिंगनेस कितनी है और एक्चुअल कितना पे कर रहा है, उसका जो डिफरेंस होगा दिस इज कॉल्ड द कंज्यूमर surplus. If I consumer goes to what the market say, he know that he can get a candy rupees 50 rupees in his mind, but when he goes to the market and he get a candy at 40 rupees, the difference between 50 and 40 is 10. This is called the consumer surplus. Area under the demand curve is called the consumer surplus. Producer surplus is measured in producer welfare. PS is expressed how much the producer's value assess a market profit. Willingness to sell and actual sell. what is the price the producer want to sell, and what is the actual price of the market. The difference between willingness to sell and actual sell, this is called the producer surplus. An area above the supply curve is called producer surplus. Is called producer surplus. This is the welfare concept. You know that this is our marginal cost, and this is our marginal. So this is the revenue of the producer. This line revenue, and this is the cost. The difference between cost and revenue is called the producer surplus. This is the producer surplus of any producer. So here you can see that the aggregate producer surplus is the area above the supply curve. This is our demand curve, and this is our supply curve. Area above the supply curve, the market actual price of the market is P naught, and actual cost of the producer is this, and the difference between this and this is called the producer surplus. And area below the supply demand curve, this area, the producer consumer are willingness to pay at this price, but actual price of the market is this. The difference between willingness to pay and actual price, this is called the consumer surplus, and this is called the producer surplus. Understand? The total surplus is measured the social welfare
Yes,
of the
sir.
society is known as the social surplus. Express how much and all the agents in a society and all the consumer, producer or government values in the market measure the total surplus by area between margin cost and demand function. तो ये total surplus क्या होगा कि the total surplus mean the surplus which is took consumer from the market, producer from the market, and government took from the market. This is called the total surplus of the any market. So this is our producer surplus, consumer surplus, and this is our producer surplus. So the competitive markets in short run, the important property of the competitive market allocated the efficiency. No scope for further benefit trade-off between consumer and producer. Total welfare and social surplus is maximized. On this way to see that price is equal to margin cost. The willingness to pay is exactly equal to cost of produce. Another way to see in the Q and Q star. This is our competitive market in short run. So here you can see that the aggregate area below the demand curve, this is called the consumer surplus, and above the supply curve, this is called the producer surplus. I have already discussed with you. So the competitive markets in the long run, firm choose the output. You know that in the short run, the consumer producer have some factor of production are fixed. In the long run, and all the factors are variable. The firm choose the output optimally. Consumer maximize utility by the budget constant. Firm choose the input optimally. There is no incentive to enter or exit from the markets. So no extra normal profit or loss, no excess demand and supply. This is the long run competitive market in which all the producer and consumer are in competitive way. When we refer to the industry being the state of equilibrium, we can referring the industry where the market price and quantity produced is stable given a market demand and supply. No firm over the industry desire to enter the industry, and no firm within the industry leave in the long run. लॉन्ग रन में कोई भी इंडस्ट्री ने छोड़ती है और नॉन नई इंडस्ट्री इंटर होना चाहती है because all the firms goes behind the equilibrium condition and they get a normal profit in the long run. So no new industry no industry can exist from the market, and no new firms enter in the industry because in long run all the market equilibrium is stable. Understand? In the long run equilibrium industries, all the factor of production are variable. Firm can enter and exit the market. Hence, the competitive industry in long run equilibrium is Each firm has no incentive to change its method of production or amount of output. The profit are zero, so the firms have no incentive to enter and exit the market. Understand, students? Okay. Now move to the another. So the from short run to long run competitive industry, we have individual firm. This is individual firm marginal cost, average and total cost. This is the profit of firm. In the long run, you can see that this is our demand curve and this is supply curve, where the supply and demand of intersect with another. This is the competitive market at the price of 10, which is the equilibrium of any market in competitive firms. So here you can see that firm supply is increased if the cost of production goes towards decrease. अगर cost वो zero कर दे और किसी तरीके से firm जो है cost जो है क्या करे कि cost less technologies को use करे which minimize the cost. ऐसी technology the firm adopt those technology which minimize its cost, which minimize its cost of production, which when the cost of production is declined, so the firm total revenue is go toward the increase, so that the firm produce more and more of goods and services. The supply curve of firm goods and services increase from left to right. So you can here see that actually supply curve is this and the supply curve is decrease from left to right. This make the price is low because there are large number of supply of the goods and services available in the markets. In the long run, if the over average variable cost, average fixed, and all the costs are exist in a long run, this is the firm, individual firm, and this is market. At that point, the firm is this is the shutdown price of firm because the firm cost firm जो है वो अपनी cost को maintain कर रही है through revenue, and this is the firm short term point, and this is the equilibrium point of market where the firm cost is equal to its revenue because the firm tangent its cost is tangent to its revenue. This is the shutdown point of the firm. So a change in the long run equilibrium when could be motivated firm to be the industry where the profit is zero to create a more realistic model. Let's assume that the demand change and map out the process of moving from one state to long run equilibrium to another situation. Demand for producer will be increased. So how do exciting the firm in the industry respond to shift in the demand curve? Assume that before the market demand increase, if the demand increase, demand कौन student increase करेगा? कौन increase करता है demand of commodity? Consumer, good. The consumer and buyer. If the demand for consumer increase, the no firm, each firm operate the plant that short run average cost and marginal cost shown in the previous diagram. Each plant produce the quantity Q naught until the minimum long run average cost. So each firm maximize the short run profit by producing Q naught unit when the price is P naught, Q1 unit then price is P1. So here you can see that at that point, this is the point. ये short run supply curve of the firms, you know that this is the equilibrium point where the marginal cost tangent intersect the average variable cost at point A, and after that point the firm sell the price at P1. Behind that B point the marginal cost is increase and increase. This is the supply curve of any short run firms. Okay, so this is the supply curve of the firm. You can see that this is if the demand of any when the consumer increase the demand of that respective commodity D1 to D2, it's mean that the supply of firm is also goes toward the increase. The short run industrial supply function is the horizontal of the short run supply curve function of the N naught flow. Though student, the short run supply curve of the firm is horizontal because he produce an infinite supply curve. After increase the demand, the supply curve is goes to positive slope. What is the reason behind that? The supply curve after demand increase goes toward the positive slope. At initially the supply curve is horizontal. इसकी क्या रीजन हो सकती है? जो मुझे बताएगा तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि उसने सही कॉन्सेप्ट गेन किया है. What is the reason behind that? At initially the short run supply curve is horizontal, perfectly elastic. But after increase the demand from D2 to D1, our supply curve is go toward the positive. What is the reason behind of that? क्या रीजन हो सकती है स्टूडेंट्स? नादिया खान, क्या रीजन होगी? आप कुछ बोलना चाहती हैं, बोलें.
Sir, positive change occurs, so that's why.
Why positive change occur? नादिया खान, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि हमारी जो शॉर्ट रन में सप्लाई कर्व थी वो हॉरिजॉन्टल थी ऐसे, और जब हमारी डिमांड कमोडिटी की डिमांड इंक्रीज हुई तो हमारी सप्लाई कर्व जो है वो पॉजिटिव स्लोप हो गई, हॉरिजॉन्टल से थोड़ा मूव हो गई ऊपर की तरफ. इसकी क्या रीजन हो सकती है? व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड ऑफ दैट दिस क्वेश्चन? Any one of you tell me about this reason? When the demand increase, the firm. Can you talk with me on mic? ओके. अच्छा स्टूडेंट्स, बेसिकली इसकी रीज़न ये है, मैं आपको खुद ही बता देता हूँ कि इसकी रीज़न ये है कि देखें, जब आपकी जो सप्लाई कर्व थी वो हॉरिजॉन्टल थी, इट्स मीन दैट योर सप्लाई कर्व इज कंप्लीटली हॉरिजॉन्टल, मीन you produce large number of goods and services and demand is no more. तो वो आपकी सप्लाई कर्व बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट थी. अब जब डिमांड बढ़ गई, कंज्यूमर की डिमांड, लाइक दैट कि सर्दियों का सीजन होता है जब, लाइक अ विंटर सीजन, the demand of sweater will go up. In winter season, you know that the demand for sweater and upper is increased. So when the demand of sweater and upper will be increased, it means that your horizontal supply curve is, आपकी जो सप्लाई है वो मिनिमाइज होना शुरू हो गई है. जब when your supply curve goes toward minimize because less number of quantities available in your markets or in your you can say warehouse, our supply curve goes toward the positive slope. Understand? तो that's why our supply goes toward positive slope. At initially हमारे पास infinite
Yes, sir,
supply
now.
पड़ी हुई है. जी जी बोले
Yes,
बोले.
sir, understand, sir.
हाँ हाँ, ये इनिशियली हमारे पास सप्लाई कर्व जो है इनफाइनाइट पड़ी हुई थी, बहुत ज्यादा सप्लाई
जी
थी, कोई
सर.
खरीद ही नहीं रहा था. जब
जी
हमारी
सर.
डिमांड बढ़ गई, प्रोड्यूसर ने, कंज्यूमर ने गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज की डिमांड बढ़ा दी और दे परचेज मोर एंड मोर ऑफ दिस गुड. तो द सप्लाई कर्व, सप्लाई ऑफ दिस प्रोडक्ट गो टुवर्ड द शॉर्ट. जब ये शॉर्ट हो जाएगी तो इसमें ओवर सप्लाई कर, at initially supply curve is horizontal, now move toward the positive slope. Okay.
जी sir.
So this is, I think this is enough for you today, our lecture, and we will continue in next class. I will send you all these slides in your WhatsApp group and numbers. So thank you so much for listening my lecture. If you have feel any problem in this lecture, you will also contact me on my WhatsApp number. So thank you so much. Our time is also over, and thank you and Allah.